Get clearance. Seems like the match is ready to go.
Cool.
So there we go, guys. We can go ahead and kick off Volskaya pending any further issues. But let's go ahead and keep our fingers crossed, knock on wood, and hope that that doesn't happen.
Yep. Well, let's see what StormQuake wants to show us, because that's the most exciting part of this, right, is what comp do we see. Remember, Ashe is available, so again, reminding everyone of that at the moment, but very unlikely I think we see Ashe versus something like a McCree here, if they are going to be doing that A defense. I don't think it's actually been shown to us who will be attacking first. We'll find out in just a second.
As the okay, will be StormQuake pushing out for first.
Yes. So on the attack, anything can happen, and I don't think we should read too much into these starting lock-ins. But the defense is where I'm most excited to see what StormQuake has to show. Because that's where you're going to see the biggest versatility of composition on this map, is around these high grounds where it's a very long run back if you fail, similar to Blizzard World, and there's a lot of ranged DPS that can happen to those tanks that are crashing into the point. Cannot be answered to by just normal 3-3 very easily. But it looks like we might see this quad DPS potentially.
Okay, they're pushing forward with it. So guys are going to be over onto the Wrecking Ball solution here with the Ashe going up against a 3-3 from Element Mystic. They start pushing their way up and around phase, taking a bit of damage so far. Proper going to get stunned up. Doha mentioned to find a kill, but now he's going to be disconnected from the rest of his squad. Push him forward, but now Kaiser in a bit of a bad spot. Pops that adaptive shield, builds it up quite high, moving up well above 800 HP in the end. Not able to find a pickoff though, and Doha's to buy.
Remember, phase is always the crux of this though, as everything else forces the rest of the team away. He's the one who's doing the most damage and forcing them away into that choke, so they've actually started to get a tick here.
Dynamite into the back, starts eating away here, get that big explosion. Hanpin gonna be taken off the side. Kaiser knocks him out of there. Grapples on, takes him out with the ball. Very nicely done. Now Exi and Takoyaki both going to be eliminated. It's just Daw and Unique trying to hold on by a thread. That starts coming down. Amy will be punished by Unique for that one, but they're in on the point, and this should be the cap. Nicely done by StormQuake with the quad DPS, but the question is, do they keep running it into B?
I think they've got one shot at this. I think they can make this work with the Valkyrie and the mines that they're about to have. And they obviously have the Barrage. The Barrage is going to be very difficult to execute here. But we were watching a lot of Silicon, so we missed a lot of the action there. But there was actually a lot of big plays by Kaiser, isolating members, putting them to the side. You know, first of all, isolating Doha, getting him caught out there. Nearly got the kill onto him. Things like that. That's actually the crux of this, more than the Ashe, which is just an external threat.
Been trying to deny away as much of this damage as he possibly can, but Mexico's going to be tagged up.
He can get it, the Barrage is
going to be
open.
out from Amy. The Dragon Strike actually finds Takoyaki. Lastro getting rid of him. The bubble now going to be expiring. Barrage still going to be held. He's waiting for an opportunity. Hanpin straight in over the top. Transcendence is out from Exi. Hanpin going to be popped out. Now the Barrage coming down. Managed to find the baby to even to get rid of him. Exi will be able to answer back to get rid of that enemy Farah. Kaiser going lower. Will be picked off. Exi coming up with the 2 kills here for his squad. Rez comes back in. Amy puts face back into the fight, but he loses his life over that one in Sparkle. He's able to scoop up a double kill. They do not get a tick. StormQuake gets so very close to taking that one away, but they can't quite get it, so the bar will go ahead and reset, and StormQuake is going to change up the comp.
The problem with when you make a risky choice like that to go to the second point, hope to demech the D, but get a big Barrage, you know, you've got the EMP potentially there with the Sombra swap. For the longer fight, you have a lot of potential for the double cap there. But now if you compare ults across the board in mirrors, Element Mystic has every advantage. I mean, massively. So it's going to be quite a bit of time that gets burned down here for StormQuake before they can really hope to take this point.
Yeah, we would expect a lot of eco pushing here from the side of StormQuake. Still a very healthy time bank, 5 minutes, 12 seconds here. Gravitoncer is going to be thrown down, locking him up. Sparkle leading the charge here as they go ahead and clean up the fight. StormQuake will just have to try it again.
And unfortunately for StormQuake on this map, with the choke here and all the AoE ults Element Mystic has, look at the ults for StormQuake now. Like, sure, Kaiser did a little bit of damage in that fight, but otherwise, they basically got nothing. Proper walks away with 18%. Sparkle has more ult charge than him, and he's someone who just grabbed. So that was not even, wouldn't even be fair to call that an eco push. It was a failed eco push. Very efficient hold here for Element Mystic.
Oh, Sparkle! He drops down. He didn't mean to do it. He falls off the platform onto the elevator. A big misplay from him, uncharacteristic. His pick off, can that lead
This is an
StormQuake
opening.
in onto the point. Transcendence going to be used by Exit. They're still holding onto a sound barrier. Now the rally's going to be coming out from Doha. Unique going to be going ahead, dropping in the shield, and Kaiser holding on, drops the hammer, manages to find one. It's on the Doha. They take him out of the fight. The bubble, however, saves him. Sparkle on the return manages to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but they will inevitably get that kill. And now Sparkle himself will be picked off, and Hanman's been knocked out of the next StormQuake in onto the point. Still not keeping up. We'll start now. Delay a little bit longer, but we got wipe coming through. That's going to be one, at least 2 ticks gained. Element missing. Is there anything they can do to stop this? Doha swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball. X back in, pushes forward, gets a bubble. Adaptive shield comes through. He's trying to stay alive. Will be taken down. Grab comes out, and that will be the cap. Sparkle basically ints his way into a cap for StormQuake. They say thank you very much for this gift. They push forward, they get the fight, and they get the cap with time in the bank.
So what was happening there with Sparkle was that he was on the high ground, he had high energy, and he wanted to look down and do beam damage from the high ground there on the approach, and then of course back off and then return to the point, drop back down inside, and kite back to B. While he was trying to track over the edge, that's very likely where he just stepped a little bit too far forward and actually fell off the edge, which then of course with the elevator being in the low point there, isolated himself to the side of StormQuake and threw himself to the wolves by mistake. It's, as you say, a very uncharacteristic mistake from one of our better Zarya players here in Korea, one of our best in contenders across the board, let's be real. We have some time to talk about this, I guess, but when a small mistake like that happens at the highest level, it could be what gets the entire cap for StormQuake when they're down on ultimates. They had the late swaps. All it takes is one death like that, and you just walk in and take it. You know, it's super easy. Then they build the ults during the fight. Then they get the grab that guarantees them the final capture there. It's why a lot of people look at grabs in this meta and say, oh, they only grabbed one person. They killed him, but, like, that was a bad grab. Actually, that's not true. If you get even one kill in this meta, and in most metas, mind you, you're going to have a good time. You're going to be pretty set to win the fight as long as you don't make any major mistakes. And if instead of getting one kill, your opponent accidentally drops their Zarya to you, then you're going to get that kill, and then you're going to... sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Why don't I just like pre-do this? Why don't I put this like a little bit like this way? Maybe it'll eventually like.
That's true. If you're the one who messes it up, maybe it'll actually correct itself.
You know, my tie's like a little bit askew as well. I don't know, guys.
I forget what it's called, but your badge is like that metal that you can like twist around, and if you leave it for long enough, it'll fold back into its original position. Or if you heat it, it'll like snap back into its position. It's basically like that. It just always moves away from whatever you try to do to it.
You know, like when me putting it down this way is kind of like, you know, when you have like a poster or something and you're trying to flatten it out. Like this is what I'm trying to do. I'm like trying to like put it the other way, so like it like naturally goes back this way, but then it eventually goes straight to the center.
Gotta flatten it by putting under some like weights or something like that to get rid of the creases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Not sure what the issue is here, guys. That is ongoing on stage, but hopefully
we might get an update on that eventually.
So,
but
yeah, so hopefully we can get back into the game pretty quickly here because I mean we were flying by very swiftly with that with the first 2 maps of the series. You know, 3 rounds of Lijiang, but still very, very quick. Hollywood, StormQuake didn't really stand a chance. They put up a decently valiant defense at the first little half there after they lost point A. They bought a couple minutes off the clock, but there was just way too much time. Yeah. And then Sparkle just gated them back into the studio, so they couldn't even get near the cart to contest it.
Yeah, I mean, and on Volskaya, we saw something really cool. We saw the Ashe, but like the Ashe, I know everyone wants to watch the Ashe, right? Every single person in the world looks at it and goes, oh my god, it's the new hero. The observers are like, all right, let's put FaZe over here in the corner because, like, he's actually important, but, like, look at Ashe, though. Whereas in reality, FaZe did the majority of that damage. Kaiser set up all those kills with his Wrecking Ball. So it was a really cool attack. Then they swap. They get the free push on B. They're going to be feeling ecstatic about this.
I mean, let's be real. It's not about the Ashe. It's all about Bob.
Yeah.
It's all about the opportunity to see Bob come in and just have him slaughter and mow down the enemy squad.
Well, that's part of the reason why you run Ashe over something like a McCree or a Soldier 76, because her ultimate is actually relevant and she doesn't die instantly while using it to a diva flying at her face. But that's another story for another time. But her ult is actually very impactful on a point like that and can actually turn fights. And she does have a little bit of AoE damage, but yeah, the main idea with the Ashe in a comp like this is actually to get the ult, because she is, in most ways, when you're running a comp like this, inferior in DPS to a McCree or a Widow, and doesn't have, for example, the flashbang that a McCree has. She has upwards mobility like a Widow does, so she can go on high ground, she can escape, etc. So it's not like she's strictly worse than Widow, but there are strengths and weaknesses, right? Widow's ultimate is more utility-based. Ashe's ultimate is more controlling a zone-based, more zoning, more damage in general, which Widow's ult just hopes to get you more damage and your team more awareness. So, yeah, I mean, for this, remember, I was talking about how I was most excited to see the defense for StormQuake because I thought that would be the most interesting part, as we are back in here now.
Okay, well, 3:49 finishing time here for StormQuake.
But now we finally do get to see that defense. We do get to see what they want to do here. And as we, this is not even the actual timer for defense. This is the in the lobby timer, which for some reason this season we started showing. We usually skip this, but let's see what they want to run. Because I was thinking we might see something like the McCree, but they might just run the same comp. They might just put FaZe back on the Pharah, and we see Kaiser on Wrecking Ball. I remember earlier I said I don't think this is real when we saw the triple DPS. So I wasn't going to say I don't think this is real about the Bastion, because then it would come true.
Well, you remember StormQuake was the team to run the Hanamura on or the Bastion on Hanamura rather.
Yes.
With the Symmetra set up to try to get onto the high ground, and they hesitated too much, and it ended up costing them dearly. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen here.
Well, now we have
Sparkle the Doomfist up. That seems much more likely.
Yes, and otherwise here we have an otherwise very standard 3-3. Expected this to be the part where StormQuake did something different, but perhaps that's the idea. Perhaps the idea is they're going to think we're going to do something a little bit different here, but we're just running standard. Let's see if this Doomfist dive works out for Elo Mystic. It's going to be tough to get in there against the initial setup, though.
Their way forward. Just going to be going up the left-hand side here straight away. Sparkle moving up over onto the high ground. Drop down, stun in on the Takoyaki side. Sparkle not going to be able to find anything, nor will the Rocket Punch. He's going to get tagged up. Going lower and lower, but does manage to stay alive for the fall. Man dropping even lower. Gives that Aura of Harmony. Will still be in the fight, but has to wait for the HP bar to fill up before he can go back in.
The scariest part for him is actually the supports who actually can do range damage.
Yeah.
He's hiding.
Dive into the back. Oh, that's going to be Amy. Take it down. Just a little punch in, so dead. Now Kaiser proper. Everyone dropping like flies. Face popped out. Lastro on his lonesome. Will just be eliminated here at the end. And there is big snowball potential here for Element Mystic with this Shatter and Rally ready to go.
Yeah, so much damage done here by the front line. And then they've got the Trance as well. With this Trance, they can force Sparkle. They can force a wave where Sparkle is literally immortal to get both the Grav and that Meteor Strike before Lastro is ready. Like, if they go in right now, Xe Trances, and they push this fight, like, this could be an insane double cap. They have to realize this opportunity, though, or else it's not going to happen. Here it comes.
Then it's going to be down. When it hopped up as they push forward, Hanbit getting closer to that Graviton Surge. Doa already coming up with a double kill, looking for a little bit more here. The Transcendence from Lastro is buying a little bit of time for StormQuake. Rally's going to be out from both sides, so just trying to stay alive. It gets taken down by the uppercut, the armor. The Rally going to be completely worthless here in the extended fight. FaZe barely making it back in the back. The Meteor Strike immediately comes through with the pin from Takoyaki to take him out. First tick going to be on the way. 6:14 remaining. A failed charge, I believe, from Kaiser as he tries to make his way in onto the point. He'll get stunned up. No chance to use the Earth Shatter. Now he's going to be gone as that grab comes in. Suljin taking out the Rally from the sound barrier from Unique, buying so much time. It is just an absolute slaughter here from Element Mystic as they steamroll their way in onto point B, and they take it with, I believe, 5:54 remaining on the clock.
Sound barrier is just an inferior Rally anyways.
It's, yeah, you know.
But look, so they do exactly as I outlined, right? You see the Trance come through from Xe. They hesitated, which was worrying for a moment. Trance goes in. Doa comes up with those kills before Lastro is ready. Lastro has to match the Trance after that initial pick, or I think it was even a pick and a DMAC there from Doa. But anyways, 2 picks essentially on paper. And the Trance comes out because he has to match it. Otherwise, they're going to lose the fight. They're not going to gain any ultimates, and it's just going to be 3 ticks immediately. But that's the exciting part for Element Mystic, because you already did the hard part using the Trance there. You also built the Space Jam ultimates. So now there's no Trance because Lastro had to Trance there defensively, and you're able to drop down the Grav, and it just all falls into place from there. Very textbook usage of that ult advantage. Again, a little bit of hesitation from Xe, still learning this new role. He did say in his interview during one of the breaks, we were watching that, it was in Korean, but essentially said that this is a temporary position for him. He's temporarily playing the support role instead of being a DPS player. But as it stands, you know, he's still in that Zen. Either way, he hit the trance when it mattered, despite the hesitation. And it looks like we will once again see this, you know, this composition with the wrecking ball.
They're going to be changing it up though. Proper's going to be swapping over off of the Tracer, going for the Soldier 76 this time. But otherwise, very much the same.
Safer damage at range here. And Takoyaki's flexed over to the Winston as a preventative measure to this as well. I like that a lot.
We're not seeing phase on the Soldier. He was the one who was showing some very good skill with it the first time they debuted the squad. Ignite. Oh, so much damage there onto Sparkle. Dangerously low. The Helix Rocket's coming down, and he's going to get picked off proper here on the high ground. Manages to find the kill. Now he's going to be some beat there. On to X, try to burn him down. Lastro will be traded out. Hanbin coming up with a kill. Amy going dangerously low, trying to stay alive, and Hanbin scoops up the double. StormQuake losing members. Hanbin is just taking names left and right proper, trying to stay alive.
It was not the Helix, by the way. Helix came later. I guess it was just a rocket to his face, but proper dead now, and this is just Element Mystic flexes.
It's a swap up.
Yeah, they flex here. You know, the Winston is enough. I think the reason why we saw Proper instead of FaZe is because FaZe is probably the better Pharah of the two, which, well, actually, no, that historically that hasn't been true, except in these competitions. It's weird. I think StormQuake is really just experimenting with a lot of things, you know, for this map in particular.
On the point, Lastro going to be taking down Takoyaki dangerously low. StormQuake need to pick him off. They managed to find Doha. Still taking a little bit of damage. Hanbin as well now, going to be tagged up. Trying to break out of that mech. So far unsuccessful, but StormQuake is in onto the point to get one tick. Now looking for the second. Dive back in. Takoyaki goes forward, gets the Zarya bubble to try to stay alive. Hanbin getting burned lower and lower as Proper just tries to focus fire him. They manage to turn around. They find the Winston. Still in the second tick, getting ready to arrive. StormQuake takes down to about 2 minutes remaining. Hanbin by himself on the point. He'll be grouped over to the side, knocked out, and taken down. And that should be point A, going the way of StormQuake. They'll get that extra little 30 seconds to bump them back up.
Because Sparkle was flexing the Tracer for a little bit there, and obviously Takoyaki was playing Winston very recently, they're really down on ultimates here. StormQuake, this is their best chance to get a great time here to get me at all.
Rapid coming down, locks up Sparkle there for a moment. The rest of the team going to be piling forward, getting it on top of that Transcendence, executing them alive. They still have the sound barrier ready to go. Amy approaching one himself. There, Kaiser going lower and lower. Sound barrier's going to be out. Element Mystic looking for the fight right here, right now. Faced up the bomb in the back, looking for a pickoff. They'll be able to find him. Proper gets Daw as the grab comes in from Sparkle. They lock him up. No one from StormQuake going to be dying yet, but FaZe will lose out on the mech from Hanbin self-destruct. XE now going to be taken down. Man advantage over to StormQuake as they continue to push forward. FaZe is going to be pistoling away, trying to build back up for that mech, and it seems like he should be able to get it because no one is able to focus in onto this Pilot Diva. Second tick going to be gained, a minute and a half remaining. They push back forward. Takoyaki instantly stunned up, getting closer and closer to that Earth Shatter, but will be taken down as he hits 90%. The grab comes in. 100 energy from Proper. The right click come in. Absolutely decimates the members of Element Mystic as they try to inch their way in onto the point. They burn down Hanbin. Unique going to be gone. The cap will roll through. A minute and 15 remaining. StormQuake advanced to 4 points.
They've got a great chance to take this map now and fight back in this series. You know, it's crazy. You know, I was talking about Proper and FaZe, what heroes they play. Proper is the projectile player. FaZe is historically the one who plays Soldier. You know, that's why you brought up, you know, why isn't he playing the Soldier? But very recently, when they're not running Soldier comps, when they are running the Pharah with the Wrecking Ball, FaZe has killed it on Pharah, so it's tough to say, you know, who's the better choice. But at the end of the day, they won A and they won B right afterwards, the double cap, because of the fast hero swaps that came through. Element Mystic reacting a little bit slow, which is one of the weaknesses we pointed out for them going into this series. They react a little bit slower, and when the A cap comes in, they stick around too long, give too much ult charge over, and suddenly, you know, StormQuake rolls in with the massive ult advantages. There's no answers on the side of Element Mystic because they're desperately swapping back. It's no shock that they would get the double cap in that position. But with such a small time bank, to get 2 caps on Volskaya at all is almost out of the question. So another miracle here, you could say, for StormQuake on B. Previously, Sparkle falling off the side. Getting to that before.
They're going to be running this on the defense now.
Yes.
This is a big gamble here from the side of StormQuake, trying to pull this off.
Lastro this time on the Soldier. Ru Jae-hung asked to have a support flex onto that here on Volskaya.
Yep. Classic swap over.
very strong off the high ground with the Wrecking Ball. The pile driver can be very powerful against a comp like what Mystic is running. Sparkle is going to head back though. Looks like they're going to swap it up.
I would have messed up that time second.
To be honest with you, when he was doing it, I wasn't even sure he was going to make it for
Oh,
a second there.
okay.
All right.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd there. Sparkle swapping over onto the Genji, the pick that made him famous.
Okay, XE on DPS too.
Widowmaker.
Here we go.
Okay, classic pickup. Fans are happy now. Takoyaki taking a little bit of damage off camera, but of course we have to focus in onto this. XE has shown us his Widowmaker once so far this season. Doha's going to open things up as last time gets taken down by the Sombra. XE going to be looking for an angle so far, not really finding
Looking for the Tracer.
Trying to find the hack here, but gets jumped on by the Wrecking Ball, and Doha's going to be melted down. FaZe comes in, scoops up a double kill to keep their hopes alive, but Sojen traded back out. Oh, and Mystic still forward with their tank line with Unique here onto the Mercy. Recall comes through, and he'll get burnt down proper. Trying to keep them in control of the point so far. Seems like it might be working.
To be honest with you, Achilios, I don't think this is the comp to necessarily run here against what StormQuake is running. Now they're disjointed. Sparkle's super low.
12 HP.
Hoppin almost
have
saves
that
it.
healer. Kaiser going to be taken down. This is just a brawl back and forth. XE manages to find proper. Doha going on a bit of a scouting mission here. XE gets another one. Can we flip over to that man, please? Because he is taking names right now. It's the third one. Observers, can we watch the Widowmaker, please?
Well, I mean, he's watching at the bottom right.
There we go.
That's what Widowmaker looks like. But they get the point. It was very, very rough there for a little while, and if Sparkle had died earlier and that had started to snowball away, then Mystic gets held, and things really start going into StormQuake's favor. But as it turns out, StormQuake has the same ults. We're all resetting here, minus the D.Va, obviously. We're completely resetting the board, so no double capture possible, barring a mistake from StormQuake.
Yeah, no chance of that snowball here. Unless they can pick up some nice kills at the beginning. Takoyaki going to be tagged up, going lower and lower, down below 200. Drops the shield for a moment, the fire strike, and very dangerous. It's the Mega Pack. Switches over here into the side room. Still playing forward, trying to build up for these ults. Kaiser pushing up now to 60%. Takoyaki going in, not going to be able to find the pin. He'll be taken down in exchange on both the Reinhardts. But the struck out, not going to find anything. Hanbin will make it back into the mech. Only Mystic still playing forward to get halfway to that first tick. His face gets knocked out of the back by Doha.
Really good eco push though.
Very high energy, trying to build
get
up
a
for that grab, and it's going to be one tick coming through. They're still at 340 on the clock now. 3 members gone inside StormQuake. Kaiser going to be burnt down. FaZe makes his way back into the mech very slowly here, but has to get over onto the point to try to contest this for the rest of his squad. Grab's going to be coming down, locks up Amy up top, and he can't make it back in. Here we go, 4 points each. We will keep rolling through on Volskaya.
Yeah. Very much a push that was designed to, you could tell by the way Hanbin used his self-destruct, the push was designed to get Sparkle's ult faster. And they were either going to, if they could bait a trance there, use it in that fight or wait for the next one. But they actually just did too much. Sparkle started getting too much energy and the kills came through. Grab or no. The grab was used there at the end just to try to deny them from tagging the point because they said, look, I mean, this is ours now. We kind of got this win ultless. You can feel a huge momentum shift here in this series where it looks like StormQuake in a lot of ways is trying these strategies they prepared that are super specific. They're, I don't want to say gimmicky, and I don't want to say cheesy, but they're certainly really different, right? They're really out there. They're the kind of strategy you kind of only use once and then your opponent adapts, right? We saw immediately the adaptation, Takoyaki going to Winston on the fence. Here it is again. You know, it's the kind of thing that you could trip people up with a few times, but if this strategy was going to break the meta, if this strategy was going to become standard, we'd see it all the time. But instead, we're really only seeing it from StormQuake and a few other teams on Route 66. Looks like they want to try it again. They've got a short time bank, so I don't blame them. Building ults with a standard comp is going to be tough.
It's interesting to have Sparkle going over to the Genji solo here. Doha's still going to be on the Brig.
I think it's
not
to counter
Doomfist, so a bit different.
I think it's to counter either the Ashe or the Soldier when they come around. It's really easy to blow those up.
Pick up the wall. Oh, trying to make up his mind as far as which way to go. Stafara already going to be taking shots down there in the picture on the bottom right.
Looking for the Soldier here.
The Soldier's going to be waiting. Oh, man, shield bash to the face.
do it.
He dashes his way through.
So
the
predictable.
assassinate proper. Very nicely done. Now he dashes in maybe a little bit too deep, but still has a deflection up. Gets tagged up and will be taken down. The dynamite from Sujen finds the kill. Probably going to be swapping over onto the Zarya instantly.
Yeah, really nice wave for StormQuake to get on this point now that they've killed him. Counter-wise, they got the faster respawns.
Yeah, now he's going to be over onto the Tracer. 30 seconds remaining. StormQuake. Can they get the cap? They lose out on the last row instantly. Bluejett trying to layer in that damage. Another dynamite pop. This way up, trying to get closer and closer to Bob. He gets the res in on the last row. Face takes down Doha. Good opening for them. Now no Brig.
It's gonna have to be now or never.
Rocket's still coming in. Barrage getting closer for FaZe. Still haven't really made their way into the point, but FaZe managed to find the kill here onto Unique. Fantastic pickoff for them. The remaining members of Element missing, desperately trying to get taken back up, but Exy can only do so much. The Solos and Yada. The healing is going to be way too slow. Now Exy going to be gone. StormQuake in onto point A. Looks like they will be getting this cap. A 30-second extra allowance getting ready to come through. Is that enough for them to break through and double
They're gonna
cap
have a lot
again?
of ults. They're gonna have a lot of ults. There's no Zarya on the side of Element Mystic. This is gonna be about, can they basically get this point capped with their first attempt? In the longer fight, Sparkle's gonna get a Dragon Blade, they're gonna have all their ults up, but right now, they have this tiny edge. If they can eliminate the D.Va mech, there's a huge opportunity here. Sparkle's already uses deflection.
They need that barrage to pop off. They need to destroy with that. Robert in the bottom, pulse bomb online, as you say. A deep dive in from Element Mystic to negate them out. Transcendence going to be used by Lastro. The Valkyrie out from Amy as they work their way over onto the point, but instantly 2 DPS members going to be dropped. The Swim Jet and Proper both go down. Now Exy finds another one. Lastro going to be taken out. FaZe does manage to find the answering kill onto that enemy Zenyatta, denying away any use of that Transcendence. Guys are playing forward here on the point. Will be taken down. FaZe is taking shots over at the Genji, but no one makes it onto the point in time to keep that one contested. Sparkle gets a cheeky little slash in with that Dragon Blade at the end to take down Amy. But they get 1 cap, they move up to 5 points, 0 ticks on B. Element Mystic, they have 3 minutes and 28 seconds, and they best them.
The realistic situation here for StormQuake is getting that A capture at all. You're gonna feel very fortunate that you were able to get that kill onto Sparkle. He was waiting there with Doha at the exact angle that the Soldier will come with a delayed approach to the high ground. Soldier's not gonna go anywhere else on Volskaya, period. Like ever, never ever in a million years. So you know exactly the reason to go. Not only that, you scouted him, shield bash, insta blow up, you get that ult charge. But then he dies, right afterwards. And StormQuake is able to, with the faster respawns, run in there and take it. But with that short of a time bank, the strategy they ran, and even with the immediate kill of Proper there by Sparkle and Doha, still got A. So you can feel like, all right, all we have to do is defend, and we can. This series is alive. We could go to the finals. It's all on this defense right here, though. If we see a draw, by the way, remember this is a first 2-3, not a best of 5. So they will, the map will continue if they get a draw. So that's, or the series rather, will continue if they get a draw.
Which means that StormQuake would get their map pick for Escort, which would very likely be Route 66.
Definitely true. That's not what they're thinking now. They want this win.
Yeah, we'll see if it comes down to that at all.
Will be mirror compositions with the exception of Sparkle again on the Doomfist. They're running that Doomfist dive. Worked last time.
Swap out the Genji for the Doom. Very easy to go ahead and flip back and forth between those two for Sparkle, but Takoyaki, just burned down instantly. Sujan moves forward, finds his stun, gets a double kill. As Han Bin will be taken down as well. Very good start to the defense here from StormQuake, but they have to be careful. They cannot afford to lose a single member when they play this far up.
The big win is Lastro's ult charge and Proper's ult charge. I guess that's 2 wins, but those are the big things they won with this. Sure, they denied the first fight, and they bought a lot of time, but those 2 things are going to be the big picture reason why the next fights go poorly for Element Mystic on paper because of that ult lead. Proper still trying to further that. In fact, does a ton of damage here on the high ground.
Attacked up decently, but will be able to stay alive. They move forward. They find Doha in exchange over Lastro. Now no support. Sparkle opens things up, takes them both down, but they answer back. Proper.
Great play
full
by Proper.
Energy just melts right through him. A hot knife through butter. They disappear, and Element Mystic is held off yet again.
The entire fight turns and Proper dies. He's sub 100 HP, but he backs off. They heal him up. If he dies, everyone at Element Mystic that was low just there all survives. They crush it, they take the point, and then they have an ult advantage, possibly win the map. So huge plays by him to know exactly how far he can push his advantage.
Now the ult's ready, throws down the Graviton Surge, locks them all up. Sends out from X the bomb in over the top, and trying to pick off his Takoyaki will be dropped. Meteor Strike into the back. Sparkle not going to be able to find a kill yet, but Kaiser does get weakened, and Doha's able to pick up the kill. Now follows up for another one, getting rid of the Ryan Break combo on the side of StormQuake. Sparkle's still in the back, trying to hound down in onto Amy. Can't quite get that kill. He'll be out of the fight, but the cop pays out. They will be in on the point to get this cap.
Scary thing.
30 remaining. That's going to bump them up for 2 minutes.
Scary thing is Lastro used his trance. Hunman's 97% right now. This looks like a double cap. This looks like the end of the series. StormQuake's going to need a miracle hold here.
Amy's still ticking up, trying to get closer and closer to that sound barrier. 84%. A little bit more to go.
Yeah,
They're
so close.
They have to block this shatter from Takoyaki. One tick is all Element Mystic needs to punch their ticket into the grand finals. StormQuake's pushing forward. They're going aggressive. The shatter's going to be coming down. Locks up one into the back. So Jenny Kaiser both going to be eliminated. Element Mystic, could they do it right here? It seems so very likely. Faye's going to be knocked out of the back. Amy's the only other one alive. He could not get the barrier in time. They're in onto the point. They have it. And Element Mystic will take the victory here on Volskaya. They will advance into the grand final for the first time in this organization's history.
3 seasons it took to make the grand finals. 2 disappointing playoffs in a row. We had that Happy New Year sign last week with 3 gifts. And there were the round of 8 victory, the round of 4, and the finals. We've got 2 of the 3 completed now for this squad. That fan sign that won the contest last week, you know, we were joking it might have prophesized the future.
You know?
But 2 of 3 now under their belt, 2 3-0s back to back. You can't help but think that Runaway will be their opponent in the grand finals. We'll find out in our next series if that's the case. But optimizing this Doomfist, running something that no one else is really doing right now, optimizing it is really what gave them the edge in this series. Not only that, but their flexibility that's always been a big weak point for them. They were able to make it happen on Volskaya against really unusual comps that StormQuake was throwing at them repeatedly. They had the answers, they had the predictiveness, they saw the predictability of what StormQuake was doing. They predicted and had used predictive tactics to eliminate members there early on, swapped over to the Genji, swapped over to the Winston. Really well played here by Element Mystic. A big night for them because this 3-0 is the first statement I think we've had from them in a long time that says we are still a dominant team, even with Exi on the Zen, even with...
There's some confusion on stage about taking their bows, but I mean, they finally did it. 3rd time seems to be the charm. Element Mystic, they punch their ticket. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for them. It's waiting for them in Busan. They gave us this. And I said, all right, sure, if you win, then I'll hold it up for you on stream.
Yeah, I've got mine.
It flashes.
Mine ended up staying. Mine ended up
a regular light up, and then, yeah, you know, there you go.
There you go.
They're going to Busan, that's my point.
So, yeah, I mean, there were definitely some holes and some questions we had throughout the end of regular season. Even the win with Sparkle on the Doomfist against DC Busan Wave, people were like, well, we didn't really see that much depth from them. Like, DC Busan Wave didn't know what to do. Like, how good is Element Mystic right now? Where is their form? I think how we saw them deal with StormQuake's quad DPS, triple DPS, the Wrecking Ball, how we saw them adapt their Doomfist strategy to make it more coordinated with the